on time on a 5 o'clock Monday evening here. Let's hit the books alongside the man, the myth, the legend. Easy for me to say. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips. I'm merely Brad Powers. Before we recap week 10 of college football, before we look ahead to what looks like another great slate of college football games for week 11, let me remind everybody that each and every episode of Hit the Books is brought to you by our good friends at BetStamp. Real good friends at BetStamp. The easiest way to prove as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books, and you always get the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sportsbook for games, futures, player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks, or you can hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it helps support the show. Knish, what's happening, man? I said it was a okay portfolio, and that's exactly what it turned out. We went 3-3 on best bets. Unfortunately, McMillan didn't play for Washington. That got voided. Couldn't get a field goal from Middle Tennessee. That sucked.
A 30-yarder. A 30-yarder. Okay, he missed the and then they get all the way down, and then it's obviously too late. They win for the win there. But, Jerry, our boy Jerry Gill's got the defense. I don't know where, what did he get some SEC guys mid-season? The New Mexico State defense is totally turned around. So, could have used that field goal, which would have been the perfect New Mexico State wins we cover on Middle Tennessee. Good things just don't happen to good people, apparently.
No, they can't. You wanted your cake and eat it too. The New Mexico State's still alive. That ticket. I think they've covered 7 in a row now.
They got This is the if they win this week, they're in the ship versus Liberty. I think this is like basically a play-in game versus Western Kentucky. So I think what are they, about a 4.5 point dog here?
4.5 money on New Mexico State. I am part of that money. I'm part of the Jerry Kill money train this week. That line opened up way too high. We'll see. This will be the week they lose by 45. Now that I bet on them. But before we get into that, any major takeaways from the weekend? Obviously, we had Alabama pulling away from LSU in the second half. Jaden Daniels gets banged up there. Alabama was already starting to pull away at that point. Clemson upsets Notre Dame. Oklahoma State, the final bedlam. I was kind of happy to see them win, considering what Oklahoma's done to the rivalry. So kudos for Oklahoma State. Ole Miss in a thriller. Any other games? Obviously, Washington USC was a track meet there. Any other things that catch your eye over the weekend?
I'd say that I really wish that Clemson injury report didn't come out before the game, because I think we were both aligned that, the 3.5 on Clemson was and then I trimmed my position substantially when that came out. And of course they win the game outright. So, your favorite Family Dollar Fighting Irish, one of my favorite lines for you, finally kind of a little bit of a comeback to earth game there versus a team that really couldn't throw a pass. And I would say, a couple of other Army 23-3 versus an Air Force team that I saw one of the dog barking there when Army. Apparently, I should just be tailing Lexi over here, because that money line was a live one. The Texas, I thought fascinating. Texas, you look at all the box stuff, they should have won by substantial margin. Couple of turnovers there, kind of let Kansas State back into it. And then the coach prime backdoor cover there.
My God, killed me.
On offense,
played the under.
At least we got the under there. But the move looked at 60 yards through 3 quarters. And setting up for a couple of that Michigan Penn State game, not going to be any love loss, this weekend here. So that'll be a fun one to get into as well.
Yeah, let's get into that real quick. Obviously, a little bit of money on Penn State. There's rumors swirling that Harbaugh could be suspended, maybe not. I mean, what's going on with that one? I took a little bit of a flyer on Penn State, not my favorite position, but I just thought if Harbaugh's suspended, it'll move like a pointer. So what's your take on that one?
Yeah, no, I have some kind of regret for, there was the look aheads that, we talked about that was 7. I was 7, that's too high. I should bet that. I never end up getting around to it. Of course, now it trades 4.5, 5. I'm in the middle. I will say, it was nice to see from a Nittany Lion perspective, their offense actually come out and do something to somebody, even if it was kind of an overmatched, Maryland defense actually looked good in that one. I'm between two minds here. I don't think it seems like Michigan is going to really challenge. If there's any kind of suspension handed down, they're going to take it to the court system and try and delay. How that works, I don't know. So my gun to my head at this point, the information changes every few hours. I think he'll be on the sideline, but where the spread's at, I'm kind of in that, a little bit of that kind of cross no play zone here of having some, regret not taking a Penn State position last week. And then thinking that the line's okay, kind of where it's trading at the moment.
Can I ask you about the other Michigan school? What's your thoughts on Michigan State this week? 31.5. That's a lot for that Buckeyes offense.
I will say, we've seen outside of one game versus Western Kentucky, has Kyle McCord looked looked the part in any of their other games? So it's just hard for me versus, a state to that, again, is not a very good Michigan State team, but 31.5. I could only play Sparty at this price. I know it, open a little lower has come up, and it, obviously gross play, but 31.5 for a passing offense that just doesn't look like it's ever gonna. It's a one-man show. I know Ibuka came back, a couple of catches, but it's been a pretty rough go of it for the entire season.
Yeah, that was another one. Maybe didn't catch, the final didn't catch anybody's eye because it was played basically to expectation. But Rutgers inside the Ohio State 5-yard line three times, kicked a field goal, all three.
What is he doing? What is he doing? What is he on? You have to ask, and I'm not saying he threw, but is it just one of those we're gonna make we're not gonna win. I'm gonna make it look the score look more respect. If you really want to win that game. And then they're going in for another score, and they get the pick 6.
90-yard pick 6.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, that
was a misleading final.
A real sweat for a minute.
Yeah, that was the definition of a misleading final there. Again, I'm not buying the Buckeyes, so to be continued as far as that is concerned. All right, let's get to the chat. They've waited long enough here. Fabulous one in the chat. He was in early, an hour and a half ago. Maction, Toledo laying 19 to Eastern Michigan. Really? Time for the annual candle November head scratcher. Eagles outright. I'm not there. I send you
outright. Well, baby. Geez, did a bald eagle land on your lawn this morning? Outright. That's quite a call there.
I'm not there. I could lean Eastern on the point spread, but that's it. I didn't even send that to you. I sent you all those MAC games last week, but this wasn't one of them. I thought it was pretty fairly priced. In fact, it's ticked up since then.
Yeah.
I want 20, to be honest with you, to get further involved. I'd lean Eastern, but nothing strong. They're pretty bad this year, man.
There's been two basic teams that, we've kind of liked to take positions against this.
And there's Knish. No mic. Gotta turn your mic on, buddy. He's something else. Well, we'll see if we I'll keep it going to the chat here. I'll give you some other games here as Knish figures it out. Nope, we ain't got you yet, bud. Don't have you. Drunk driver, H3, you're going to have to probably restart, bud. There we go. Solo for now until Knish figures out the mic. I don't know what he did there. You bumped it. He was so busy talking about an eagle landing. Maybe an eagle landed on his computer and messed up his sound. But Drunk driver, H3 in the chat. Thoughts on Georgia Tech Clemson. I'm going to echo the thoughts. I didn't really talk Clemson. You back, man?
I'm back. You got me now?
Yeah, I got you.
All
man.
right. Yeah, the dog knocked the mic out of the wall and everywhere. So, apparently the dog liking Eastern, but no, I'm with you. As I said, there's two teams we faded in the MAC all year, Toledo and Eastern Michigan, and they're playing each other. So, I would need a little bit richer on that one to get into it.
I got a text from Steve Fezzik that says Knish sounds better with the mic off.
I was going to say, which minus 5,000 does the Blue Horseshoe like tonight in the college basketball slate? So I know he's probably busy parlaying, Mid-Eastern Maryland Shore versus Nebraska or something. But
yeah. Did you see my tweet about him? He was touting about how great his college football record was, and then the next bet he gives out is a minus 650 favorite. Unbelievable. You cannot make that stuff up. Unbelievable. I was talking Georgia Tech Clemson. I'm on both sides of this one. I made it like 14-ish. I laid 13.5, took 17 with Georgia Tech. I'll echo your thoughts. Man, that injury report crushed me because the old tout service was getting ready to give out Clemson plus 3.5 against Notre Dame. And that Saturday morning news was cost me a lot. But they could be back a little renewed energy. But I can tell you, Georgia Tech looked pretty good again last week. So I don't think it's a high value pick. I think 14, right around 14 is the right number.
Yeah, no, I'd get there with you as well. I would lean, taking the 14.5, a gun to my head. But I agree. It was one that, a lot of different opinions on the soft opens of where this should be. I know Clemson off one performance, but it's a team that, obviously Klubnik was not 100% healthy. I think that kind of went under the radar there in terms of, the way the game played out. But he was not good. He didn't run. I think he finished with negative rushing yardage. He was not good in the game. So I could only take Georgia Tech with over 2 TDs there. And I don't know if Clemson's offense now granted, it looked better with no Shipley and they just given Maffa, 30 carries or whatever. He's the better back. So, but at the same time, I think it'd be a jacket to nothing for me.
Fabulous one in the chat, Brad, Knish. I know you guys and all of us. That matter, love fading, Coach Prime. And the Buffs, I'm about to tap out trying to beat them. Someone has to lock the back door. Yeah, that's 2 straight weeks of backdoor there. Statistically, they should have been getting crushed in that game. I thought Oregon State should have.
Both games. These covers are late again. Here's what that's the discipline. Yeah, you got the final, whatever you want, what the final score should have been and all that. There's no way they should have covered either of these 2 weeks. That's the discipline. If anything, it'd be Arizona or nothing. An Arizona team that's on the heater of a lifetime right now. So no way I'm back in Colorado. Probably for the rest of the season.
No, I laid it with Arizona on the openers. I had no regrets, kept laying it. Anything under 10, that was playable for me. And I honestly, even at the current numbers, that 10 is playable for me even. Colorado's a fraud, man. I know they've won some stuff all year that just, I don't know, boggles the mind. And I'm not saying I'm a Dion hater, but it's not repeatable what they've been doing. I can tell you that. They're probably due to get beat by 35, 40 points.
Yeah, I agree. And as you I think they just could have kept Sean Lewis in there, kind of stay. I don't know why he's throwing his lineman under the bus. Obviously, they need, some new offensive line injection and stuff. It's just one of those there. I tell you, I tweeted that he's lucky that Connor Stallion story's off because Dion was all the rage before the Stallions thing happened, where it's just one of those. I don't think these changes needed to happen. It's almost like the panic moved and did all this stuff. And it's this team was never going to compete. They're a million times better than last year's team. You go into the portal again, you add some more talent, you bring guys back, and you run it back next year. But now they're doing all this end of the year nonsense where it's I don't know. I just, I don't know what I just disagree with how it's been managed.
To say the least. There you go. I love it. When you were cut out there, I was like, I don't know if a bald eagle landed on his computer, knocked out the sound, and then you come back and you blame your dog. So I was close. I was in the neighborhood. RW fan in the chat, Jerry Killing the boys from Las Cruces would like a word with you. We still love them. They're still there. We just need Middle Tennessee to kick a field goal is all.
That was it, our dub. It would have went perfect. 13-10, everybody goes home happy. But no, of course, 30 college kickers had to ruin our double dip there of a New Mexico State win and a Raiders cover. So sad.
You know who was happy there? Mr. Biscuits, Mr. Muscles.
I know. Yeah, I know. Some people were laying the 3. And I know, as you said, we talked last week that some of the systems in there, that had that much higher. I thought 3 was fair. I thought it was a 3-point. Should have been a 3-point game, played out like it should have been a 3-point game.
Awesome in the chat. Brad, how do you feel? Am I having a stroke? I can't even talk right now. What the hell is going on? Brad, how do you feel about our Cal future? They have played well, just a tough schedule. Maybe we beat Wazoo and Stanford. UCLA isn't out of the question either. I mean, we needed to win one of those USC or Auburn games. They needed to win one of those. I'd feel comfortable that they could, win one of these games down the stretch. They just got to take care of business. I don't know about this week. Washington State looks like a piece of garbage right now. So need to win this week. Need to beat Stanford. I mean, they'll be 1-point favorite this week. Stanford, they'll be sizable. So we'll see. I don't know. Disappointing. Mickey Hill in the chat. I know the JMU train is full steam ahead, but there's some 25s out there. Thoughts? There was a 27 out there last night. I took it with Connecticut. I couldn't believe that spread. Did you bet this game at all? I couldn't believe how big this spread was.
No, I had definitely my lightest Sunday of the year by far. But I agree. I thought that was a little bullish. I mean, when you go from 35 versus Tennessee to now, 27 versus, and there's apparently still some around there, but no, I'm with you. I think that it's a little too much respect for a JMU team that, having a fantastic season, getting 4 touchdowns here versus a Connecticut team that, I mean, has at least been, an improvement from that. It is a tough, I will say. I don't know what UConn's doing a back-to-back Tennessee JMU towards the end of the season. I don't know who put that schedule together, but they need to get rid of that staff from the athletic department because it's a little bit of a rough one,
to say the least. Yeah, it was my lightest one, at least at Circa this year too. Other places were a little bit busier, but man, it's tough getting down at Circa this year. I mean, you want to see me blow a head gasket? I mean, I hit trying to get these point spreads, and I'm hitting, and the line has moved. I'm like, how in the hell is the line moved? It's been open for 10 seconds. But yeah, I mean, it's been frustrating to get Circa numbers this year with multiple states opened up. Grant in the chat, UCF +3 at home against Okie State, coming off a Bedlam victory. Feels like UCF is a side there. Best bet. Yeah, I mean, where's it 3 right now? I made that bet at +3. I like it, but is it widely available? It's mainly 2.5, isn't it? No, it's 3. When that must have moved before the show because it was 2.5 the majority of this morning.
Yeah.
What's your thought on that?
I'm with at 3 in the bounce house. I agree.
Yeah, let's do it. Best bet +3. I'll own that one. I like that quite a bit.
I'm with you. I agree. I just, you know what? I've probably gotten burned a few too many times fading this Oklahoma State team, but I just think this is too much respect for them at a place where UCF much healthier now than they were at home, where I think they're a much better team than on the road. And I'm still, I don't know, I'm still a little skeptical of the Oklahoma State body of work, to be honest with you. Even though they keep pulling out these results and they're much better, it's just 3 is quite a position there.
Yeah, I mean, 5 straight covers for them, I think, by an average of 16 points per game. I mean, sooner or later, I hate using the do factor, but I mean, that's unsustainable, covering margins like that. So, UCF for me. I have made that exact bet +3. Best bet, UCF, first one of the week. Actually, no, second one of the week. Monday morning show. Gave out Temple +8. What's your thoughts on that one, Knish?
Totally agree with it. I don't know if there's.
I said to Zach, if you agreed that was a death no. The time when I was winning these, you're like, I don't know.
Oh well, hey, I know hate the play. But listen, I can't hate my boys from Temple. I'll tell you that. I you know what? When it got back to 7, that was quite a play for me versus Navy. They win it outright. We called it as a money line shot last week. Team to put in the round robin. Also, another thing, Middle Tennessee cost me quite. I'll post it after the show, but had a really nice money line round robin live going to just that game. So yeah, that Las Cruces better win the CUSA title to get me back on that. But listen, the Warner difference is what, like 8-10 points between him and the back. It's a totally different team. So they were, and I mean, maybe some of this is Navy, but the defense actually played pretty damn well versus, against the run, which they haven't been good this year. So, yeah, hey, I like it. I think they're live again.
Yeah, I said 7 as far as him being worth on the morning show, but I was being conservative there. They won by 14 last week, despite they were -4 in turnovers and still beat Navy by 14. They are significantly better with Warner at quarterback. Woo! No offense. I mean, it's like literally night and day. Temple, love that pick. Shane in the chat. I'm glad that you like it, actually. I was just giving you a hard time. I figured that would get your rubber stamp of approval after last week. Shane in the chat, Joey K, what happened to your Canes? You know what? This would be the week that they revert back. You watch. It's a 2-touchdown underdog against Florida State.
I tell you what, I don't think, and for his sake, I hope not. I don't think Tyler Van Dyke is healthy. And he was like, you saw, at one point he was like 6 for 16 with a pick in that game. Like, I got to tell you, I don't know if and maybe you see the QB2 this week. I don't know. I don't think they can, unless he, gets healthy, looks better this week. I don't know how you run him out there again. I will say it depends on who goes for Florida. Like, if Coleman and Wilson and some of these other guys from Florida State are going to be out again, I think I'm pretty sure some of those were maybe like it was a pit team. I think they'll play, but that's one you got to monitor where it would be disgusting, but I'd probably be on the Canes again, depending how some of this injury stuff shakes out.
Shane's got a couple more in the chat. Mississippi State, A&M. I didn't bet it. I don't like either team. Didn't bet that one. Arizona State, UCLA. I bet, as ugly as it is, considering they just lost 55-3, I bet some Arizona State because UCLA's got some significant quarterback news. Dante Moore not practicing today. Neither is Garbers for them. So keep an eye on that throughout the week. Did you do anything with those two games?
I didn't, but I agree. I couldn't lay this number with. I went, to be honest with you, I don't know. Yeah, the dog, air dog bark, and a little bit of not the full bark, but might be interested in some Sun Devil money line here. But I don't know how much of a I know he hasn't played, but with the level of performance I've seen from Moore and Garbers, it's like, is Colin Schlee going to be a massive downgrade? I don't know. With that said, I still think the number's too high for me to get behind UCLA.
Were you part of the Arizona State money last week? Because, man, that was one of my biggest power ratings disparities I've had all season, or at least later in the season with Utah. It prevented me from saying, hey, Utah minus 10. If I saw that on open, I would have been my biggest bet of the week. I can't believe all that money that came in on ASU there. Were you part of that or no?
No, you know what? I didn't get to the window on that one either way. I think I got, there was an injury very similar to the Clemson where like Arizona State, like it was coming out, like they're down to like their 7-string offensive tackle or somebody. And it was like, this is a perfect, matchup for Utah to destroy them in the trenches. And they did. With that said, I probably just got a little too much respect for their recency bias of how they've played regardless of injury. And of course they get smashed.
4 games banged up too for Arizona State. So we got to check both quarterback injury reports on that one. I got to make a note on that myself. Otherwise I forget. Mickey Hill in the chat, Navy +3 seems like a big over adjustment for the Blazers. Yeah, I lean that way, but and I bet Navy. It was you want to talk big time adjustment? It was like 5.5 last night. And they were betting UAB on the open. I don't know. Now it seems kind of fair. I'd still lean Navy. Where are you at here? I did like you. UAB almost blew it though last week. That kind
of, my God! I had a message typed out to you when they like went down by 7. Like, how can we run this bad here on that when it was like 35-14, then it's 42-35. So thankfully they came and finished it. I don't know what's happened to Navy's offense first. That's a little bit of a concern against a Temple defense that I did not think was very good. But I agree. I think this one's pretty fair where it's at.
You know what I think happened to them? Not only the transition and whatnot, they had 3 freaking buys that just totally disrupted their whole season, man. Every time they play a game, bye. Then they play 2 games, bye. Play 2 more games, bye. I think that's really messed up their offense this year. I think Notre Dame and Navy played in week 0 against one another, and Notre Dame has played 2 more games than Navy. So it's just too many buys, I think, disrupted their offense a little bit there. That's my thought. That's just a theory. Mickey Hill again in the chat. Market's still undervaluing East Carolina +8 at FAU. Yeah, I bet ECU again there. 8's getting close to a fair number, but anything over a touchdown, I lean ECU. Look, their offense stinks, but their defense is legit. Keeps them. That's why they've been covering here as of late.
Yeah, listen, I can't back you for just taking the number there. I agree. I would have, when it opened up, what'd you get it at? Like, it was a
11.
Yeah. I kind of need double digits here to be interested. But I agree with the initial move down at FAU's been in a lot of cases.
Jekyll and Hyde a little bit.
Yeah. You never know who you're getting in this one, but I agree with you playing the number there at 10. At current, I think it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get why some of the negativity around ECU. I mean, their offense is that bad. They can be playing good for an entire game and just can't score, and then the opponent breaks free and you got a loser. So lean at that number. We'll see though. There's been even some negativity towards ECU late in the week, so maybe you get a better number later. Fabulous one in the chat. Big Ten undercard: Rutgers, Iowa, Maryland, Nebraska. I lean Rutgers. I lean Maryland. Where are you at there?
I played some Rutgers early. Think that got moved down.
Yeah,
now
I couldn't get to that. Was one I tried to bet, and somebody beat me to the punch there.
Yeah, that was it. But now, I mean, when you talk about points at a premium, this is like of all the games in the last like 40 years of college football, with a total, 20 and a half, 29. So those half points, worth about. So I played some. What's that now? Two. Yeah. This is going to be, you know what? There's the occasional college football teaser game, and if there was ever a spot for the old CFP teaser, this would be throwing Rutgers in a leg here. I kind of lean that way still, though. But at under now field goal, that I think it's about right. But I mean, I've heard it a few places. These Big Ten West games, nobody's offense. Anybody can win any game. They're like even late season. Like you want to like almost taking the dog here, especially with the variances. Is always seems to be a plus EV position. So I'd be Rutgers or nothing for me still.
Yeah, it's a shame Air Force Army wasn't played this week. I think Army Rutgers teaser would have been one that I would have possibly bet. Like the one time a year I would have bet a teaser in college football. that might have been it right there. There you go. Justin in the chat, need at least one college basketball play from Knish. 184 games tonight, man. You got to have one, right? I'm retired. I retired after last year.
Yeah, I didn't honestly. I'd have to look in. Yeah. I tell you what, there was a Norfolk. I told the story. There was a Norfolk State game I was watching on ESPN Plus a few years ago, and I was like, "What am I doing with my? I cannot watch this sport. I'm out." Listen, if you love college basketball, that's your thing. More power to you. I'm not a fan. I'm not sweating it anymore. Doesn't mean I'm not. The bets aren't still flowing, but I'd have to even look in there because I don't even like looking to see what I'm on. So just to make sure I don't check the scores.
There you go. It is Oregon and Georgia are playing right now. Not a football game, basketball game. I think that's a big game on right now. So we'll see. I'll probably watch a little tonight, but no bets for me. Matt and Sarah Welsh, BYU money line this week. Don't think Jeremiah Cooper plays. Odd travel spot for Iowa State. I'm on Iowa State. I think BYU's terrible. I'm on Iowa State. Where are you at on this game?
It would, yeah. I don't know how you back BYU at this point. I'm not sure where the bottom is for some. I mean,
I'm nearly best bet material at 6.5. That's how
I agree under a TD. I can't get there at all. They can't do. I mean, their defense is off. They can't run the ball anymore. And I know Slovis wasn't playing great, but now you're probably on Retzlaff again. I agree. It'd be Iowa State or nothing for me under a TD.
Might come back to that one later in the week, but I don't know if that'll be there. I mean, there was so much anti-BYU money in the marketplace even before the Slovis news hit. I mean, and obviously that was a one-way, blowout against West Virginia, to say the least. Joshua N in the chat. Arkansas State has caught fire. Have to play them again at 11.5. Yeah, you got to watch the 11.5. I think that's a good number. I think didn't it get down to 10 or 11? Arkansas State, I should say South Alabama. You got to watch the quarterback. Is Carter Bradley going to come back this week? The other kid looked okay. He just got wore down by that Troy defense. Not the defense you want to play in your first start.
Yeah, I was they had Desmond Trotter, who I assumed would be the backup there at the time, and they go with the younger kid, who, like I say, looked pretty good, but as you said, just as the game wore on, didn't have enough in the tank. I'd still lean that way with Arkansas State, but it seems like they've been much better, like rolling on offense versus the lower class team. Now, you kind of take a step up in talent here on defense. I still would only play the 11.5 though.
Fabulous one in the chat. What do we do with Washington State? 5 losses in a row. Any thoughts on the outright at Cal? Are they cooked? I don't know. This is kind of a stay away game. I can't trust either team right here. It's a season salvager for both. We'll see who wants to play. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Washington State offense completely disappeared after the bye. They came after that bye against UCLA. We haven't seen them since. Maybe in a little bit of stretch against Oregon. But other than that, they've been completely MIA. What the hell happened?
Yeah, I saw I forget who it was. I give him credit. Like before the bye, it was like 44 or something points a game. After the bye, 16 points a game. I don't know. I don't know what's happened. But yeah, this is one both teams kind of in a little bit of a free fall here. Market has been fading both. Nothing for me. I'm on the stay away train too. I don't know what number it'd have to get to either side for me to really have interest. Because it's probably a pass.
Yeah, I like to bet the over, but I can't trust Washington State's offense right now. I mean, they get 7 points against Stanford. What the hell?
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, that's pathetic.
Against Stanford.
You know what another win total I'm going to have to sweat now? Fucking Stanford now. I thought I had a great bet at 3.5. Unbelievable. They lose to Sacramento State. I'm like, they're going to win maybe 2 games. Maybe 2 games. They're 3, and they're still alive in a couple games down the stretch. Hell, they might win 5. Unbelievable this year. Charles Saul in the chat. Louisville, UVA at 21. I'm buying UVA. I mean, I hate it. Tony Elliott. And that was terrible last week by them. And Louisville looked really good. That was sneaky performance there. They crushed Virginia Tech. That was a good performance. I did bet plus 21 though. What's your thoughts, sir?
Yep. Is that what's the that was?
I don't think it's there. Yeah, where are these people are getting some good lines here? Where's that 21? I thought I took that out.
Yeah, I see. There's some 20 and a halves out there. I agree. At 21, I'm in, but not yet. And I need the full 21 there.
YouTube user touched on Penn State plus 7 last week. Yeah, we should have more than touched on it. We should have bet it. Damn it. I'll tell you what, I had some shenanigans on Sunday morning. Obviously, I got to be on the phone calling on faraway places, but we got hit the old hit the plus 7. Oh, let's go to management for approval. Oh, back 5.5. And I said, nah, pass. But should have hit 7. I don't know. I kind of lean Penn State now, but let's see how this shakes out with Harbaugh. It feels like the news changes by the hour.
Right. I totally agree. It does seem it's a great. We talked about it early in the show, but it really it's more. This story is the ultimate 4 clicks. So you're getting a bunch of different reports from a lot of people who either have trash sources or no sources, but they're putting it out there because they know 1,000 people, including Joey K, will click on it in about 2 seconds here to see updates. So yeah, it's been hard to get accurate information. I don't know where we're going, but I think 4.5 is about right.
Burt Brownies in the chat. Shout out to you guys on Washington, USC. Wanted Washington pregame. You guys suggested live bet instead. I hit Washington after the first USC TD. You guys rock. Keep up the great work. Yeah, that did work out well there. Almost the USC. I was thinking backdoor at the very end, didn't you, on that one drive? They'll get the backdoor, and it'll be a 3-point game there. But what do we take? Unless we get to it later, but USC, Oregon, what's the take there? Obviously, Grinch is fired for USC. What do they have to play for down the stretch here? I don't know. That's Oregon or nothing for me.
I tend to lean, and I think it's bad matchup to Oregon, as we've said. When we're talking about when they went into Utah, it's like so one team in the Pac-12 that can match up in the trenches with anybody. Wow, I hadn't looked at that one, and I didn't know it crossed through the 14.5 to 15. So yeah, I agree with the move there. We kind of regret not jumping in on any of the early stuff. I don't know if you see a full quit from USC, but I just don't think, and Alex Grinch, obviously not the DC that you'd hire, for your middle school team, but I don't think they've had really the personnel all year. You look at they don't have top-notch personnel on defense. I know they paid Barry Alexander and some other, but they're small. They don't have a ton of explosiveness. They don't have much, if any, NFL talent on that defense, and the Grinch factor of apparently he doesn't teach tackling or any of that stuff. So is that going to change in 1 week? I think you change offensive coordinators, you can kind of change that up. Defense, I don't think you can change too much in 1 week. So yeah, I'm There's not. I don't. What would you need to buy USC in this game? 17.5, 18?
Yeah, that's what I need. Yeah. They also need about 2 or 3 more Bear Alexanders because I mean he's about the only guy that's got size up front.
Literally,
Yeah.
they all had someone should have cut the checkbook in the portal for a little bit more money because that one guy.
They don't have as much money, or they're at least not willing to spend as much as they thought they were. So they're struggling. Have you seen their recruiting class? Like 18th or 19th. That's unacceptable. What's going on, man?
I don't know.
You go to the Big Ten. You open here in Vegas against LSU next year. Woo! It's gonna be rough. I do have an announcement. We have 300 viewers right now and only 75 likes. 75. I can do the math in that 25%. That's unacceptable. Let's get those likes up.
Get it up for Zachy Phil, baby.
Yeah, for Zach. Not for me, not for Knish, not for Knish's dog, not for Moretto, the pizza man.
Definitely not
anybody but for Zach Phillips. Good dude. Get those likes up. Charles Saul in the chat. What do you guys make of the Island game? Looking at the under there, how did Air Force get beat so bad? -6 turnovers is how you get beat so bad. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably not locked in like you should be. Army locked in. That's what happens. I didn't do anything in the game. That was another game. Hit -16 to bet. Somebody effing beat me to the punch there. So I didn't get. I wanted Air Force, but whoever's out there that's hitting these circa openers faster than me. Kudos, you're probably younger. Your eyes are better than me. Kudos. I could not get to it. And I swear to God, I thought I had it there, but that number seems right. I can see blowout, though.
We had talked about it last week on the show. Just the Hawaii money came in. The market was true there. Beat Nevada. I kind of dominated the game in a lot of aspects. I still don't think their offense is totally right as what I thought it could be to start the year. But I don't want to lay this number with Air Force. I will say that another one you want to talk mid-50s, this total open just got hammered down. The
whole game got hammered. Tried to hit both.
Yeah.
Somebody just crushed me on that one. I thought I was sneaky because I went to the bottom. Here's a little teach a man to fish instead of giving him fish. On the open, sometimes I go to the bottom first. Because everybody starts at the top. I go to the bottom first and then work my way up because I can get them in quicker. But somebody's figuring that shit out too. Kudos to you guys. It's getting tougher. Burt Brownie's in the chat. Texas Tech, Kansas. I didn't bet it. I wanted to bet the over, but came higher than I expected. Where are you at here?
Yeah, Texas Tech. And I think you saw Morton kind of being back so their offense can be a little bit back to myself. I would lean Texas Tech, to be honest with you, because I still think Kansas's defense is a bit of a pretender, even against, obviously good effort there on the road with Iowa State. I haven't gotten there yet, but I would say it was on the radar for me, Texas Tech here.
I agree with that. We'll revisit that one on the Friday show. Shannon in the chat, good call on Illinois. Joey, what's your banger this week? You got one?
Well, I tell you, I wish we could have saved. I knew that wouldn't last. Wish we could have saved for the show. For also John Paddock. But what was he Bowling Green legend or was it Ball State legend? Ball State legend. Someone had to remind me of that. Comes in, throws 3 dimes to win the game outright. So if I ever see him wherever, if he's selling insurance, I'll buy a package from him after his career wraps up. Because that was a nice rare.
Altmaier's good to go there. I kind of leaned a little Illinois. Where you at there?
I don't care who's playing. If I like Paddock, I might be more bullish on Paddock if he's in. I didn't have a strong lean on that. I think Indiana's been playing a bit better since the OC change.
A bit better. Yeah, they've been playing a lot better, man.
A lot. I
give them
the flowers. They have been playing a lot better. So, but I didn't get to the window on that one. Either way, I don't think Rutgers was the only early Big Ten game that I got in on. I don't think I've gotten involved in any other Big Ten games so far.
Eat that in the chat. Thoughts on Arkansas -2.5, -120 at home to Auburn? Is that where it's at? Is it back down to 2.5?
Yep.
I like Arkansas.
I think so. You know what? And we talked about it last week where we bet the over, it came back down. If you're someone that's using like a lot of the season long data, you're probably not, just like I'll compare it to the Raiders yesterday, without McDaniels, where it's the first game all year, they score over 20, you fire. Sometimes you get rid of the coach and you're not going to be able to pick it up on a sheet or with any of the data. I think you got rid of Enos. They're going to be playing a lot faster. They're probably going to be playing the system that more suits some of the personnel they have. I think you might get another week of some value on Arkansas here. So I would agree.
You going over or Arkansas? Do you want to do best bet or pass till Friday?
I think I like Arkansas at under 3 better than Auburn or better than the over, just because even Auburn had a nice week. And Mississippi State, I still don't fully respect their offense.
Arkansas minus 2.5, best bet. I'm good there. I made that bet. That exact bet I made. I like that. Charles in the chat again. Shout out to Shootout, he says. Oh, shootout to Joey K for New Mexico State Conference USA.
Well, hey, Charles, we didn't. Oh yeah, don't. You might want to shoot me when they lose to Western Kentucky this week, and then we had to sweat this 50-1 ticket all year. But yeah, we'll see. Big one this weekend. I don't know. I don't think Western Kentucky is really any damn good. Not that New Mexico State, but they're playing way better ball late in the season than they were early. We were joking about it 6 weeks ago. Throw the ticket in the trash can, and now they're on a heater. So we'll see. Jerry Kill's a great football coach.
Wait, hold on. He's commenting on that Conference USA clip. Do we have it? Because everyone keeps commenting on it. I forgot about it. My memory. Let's see if Zach can pull up that Conference USA clip. Let's go.
Zach, get the clip ready. Get whatever, there's some other podcast that say turn the TikTok camera on. We don't have TikTok, but get the clip ready. New Mexico State, in terms of long shots to win a conference title, I think is my favorite bet on the board this year.
Wow.
I played some 40-1. I think that 30, 35-1 is widely available.
Bet MGM has 40-1.
Yes, that's right. Yep. Bet the 40 at Bet MGM. I think this team had, in terms of like a 40-1, in terms of like a team that will call it, 25-1 or higher. I think this is the best conference future on the board that you can get at 25-1 or higher. Zach, I mean, listen, I'm not going to pay like I'm some savant. This conference is terrible, and the second best team can't play for the title. So listen, Liberty has been better than I expected, no doubt, but you needed like one team to fall off for this to be live. The whole conference is trash. So, hey, Jerry Kill got him a little hot, and now you're one game away from the title game. So that's, and again, we've said, like, usually you're not going to find long shot value in the SEC, in the Big Ten, or any. I mean, most of those teams at the bottom of the league have a 0% shot of ever making a title game. The new CUSA, who knows? Hopefully we get it, and then we can really sweat the title game.
Well, I think Liberty's here to stay for a while.
Charlie, new microphone also. That was a lot better. I agree, though. Liberty gonna. I mean, even if we get there, you might want to, look for some hedge options because, that'd be a tough one.
Yeah, double-digit spread probably. I think it's going to be played at Liberty. They've already played that game this year. I bet New Mexico State in that effing game. I took plus 11, didn't get home. And I think New Mexico State was winning outright early in that game, if I remember correctly, earlier this year. In the chat, D-Lee23, back to the Kent State. Well, boys, I am off Kent State. We bet BG. You called me up and said, hey, I need some action here. FanDuel was up last week. I gave you BG, man. I don't want anything to do with the Golden Flashes.
I swear to God, like, I keep waiting. I keep thinking these Kent State spreads are going to be like, it was the game versus Buffalo where I'm like, this is only, I keep like, listen, Joey K doesn't mind backing Kent State, but I thought this game would be like, 10. And instead it's, 8, 7.5. I'm not going to back him at that. Give me 10, 11. Maybe I can get to the window, but their level of play hasn't really, and I mean, granted they had Akron against the ropes until the collapse, but I mean, that's.
Yeah, but I don't know. Does the bow finally break then? You gave that effort. You're up against your rival and then you still lose.
I hear you. I'm not yet. No Kent State for me this week. I need to I need to do like a 12-step Kent State program to never have me bet them again.
Speaking of 12-step, Brett in the chat also sweating the Illinois money line with Knish was the side of a lifetime. I won money, but lost a few years of life expectancy. College football do that to you. College basketball will too.
That's why I said the college. I give myself the 1 day a week, because I tell you what, if I like college basketball, if I was sweating this crap every day, I'd be in a fucking padded room somewhere, on about 58 different pills a day. I'm barely stable as it is. So I tell you what, college football, that's why. Give yourself the 1 day, and then I don't know, go take a walk or the garden or something. So something more relaxing than sweating this stuff.
Speaking of lifetime, in the last chat, lifetime, Knish's barking dogs 2-1 money line dogs.
I tell you, if I would have listened to my dog, I wouldn't have to make that Army money line. I wouldn't have to make a bet the rest of the season. So could have paid for. I would have, dog would have paid for itself with that bet. So yeah, apparently it's sleeping now, a little tired from pissing me off for half the show. So now she's
I wonder what the Army minus 17 alternative point spread would have paid out.
Seriously.
Yeah. Who saw
also,
that?
I had over in that game, 0. So 0, what is it, 0 points second half? That was fun. One touchdown in the second half, nothing.
How low is the Army Navy total going to be?
I don't know. I can't. This is where it's like the reverse line movement stuff of like people tweet it and you're like, I can't watch it. That total now is like the one where it's like some guy who works for the Wall Street Journal is like, oh, Army Navy total, they've gone under 18 and 19. And it's like, oh my God, I can't listen to people say this anymore. Please, God, go over.
That's how I was last year, and it went over because of overtime. So yep. I'm rooting for the over again this year. I just, OT in the chat. No JT Daniels for Rice. Is he definitely out? Should we lay it with UTSA? Was that confirmed today?
I think it was a concussion, right? Which
yeah, he got banged up. I know he's questionable, but I didn't see that came across that he was officially out. Yeah, I did. I already bet UTSA there. With him out, I think anything under 2 touchdowns certainly lean. Also, Rice has had 2 really good efforts in a row. They've come up short against 2 of the better teams. Now they're back on the road. Yeah, this one, I don't know. UTSA gets some margin here. What do you think?
I would with no Daniels, I would definitely lean that way for sure. Although they did, let me see what I didn't look at the box there to see how Rice back. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't great. So yep, I agree with that. UTSA, I don't think he's gonna play. So yeah, I'd lean that way. And now either he's even a couple of 12, depending on where you shop. Actually a 12.5 out there somewhere. So I'm gonna bet a little of that as we speak.
There you go. It's there. Bet MGM. Get it before Knish. Grab the 10.5 with Utah. Thoughts? Well, I think that was a good bet with 10.5. I would have made that bet against Washington. I'm still not buying Washington. Are you? I know good performance.
Uh-oh.
Outright.
Apparently that settled it. Get your money line bets in here as I try and beat some of you fuckers to that UTSA 12.5. No, I tell you what, I don't.
That's
think
a lot of barking.
I was going to say,
I'm betting
really
Utah
like
money line as we speak.
Or there's some idiot parked outside my house. But hey, knock it off. I will say, I think from a matchup standpoint, you've got Utah give a lot more trouble to Washington than a team like USC. And again, we said last week kind of the opposite as well in terms of what USC could do for Washington. But you saw what Washington did in that game. They were able to run the ball, and the offense looks so much better with Penix when they're able to run it. And it's not just him having to pass it. And so apparently this is the lock of the century for a player. But I agree
I'm not
with you
joking. I'm going to bet the money line.
It would be Utah or nothing for me at 10 or better.
Yeah, I do. I kind of like Utah this week too. I wanted 10 or better, didn't get there. Obviously, listeners got there before me. Kudos for that one. I don't know if it'll ever appear again the rest of the week, to be honest with you. There's a lot of negativity about Utah last week in the marketplace. I think 55-3 squelched that. Yeah, Utah for me here. William Herman in chat. There you go. Yeah, minus 20.5 at this rate for the dog barking. I love it. New Mexico, Boise State, 26.5 thoughts. What the hell? What was it, the anti-New Mexico money? What was going on there?
I tell you what, I don't know who got that, but like from 9 a.m. to post, people were betting UNLV all day. And I will say that's one of those, you pay attention to the market for a while. When you see that kind of steam on a game day, especially in kind of an irrelevant game, you almost know. And I'm not advocating like to chase a bunch of bad numbers, but when a game goes from like under 12.5, 13, basically 4 or 5 points, and nobody's betting the other side
early in the week.
Yeah. It was like one-way traffic all week. And I regret not chasing some of that. So I don't know.
I thought the quarterback was out. I thought multiple players would be out. They played. What the hell? It was still one way. 56-14. I get the locals, but it was all across the market. Sometimes here in town, the stations or whatnot always price UNLV a little higher than some. That was just across the board. I couldn't believe it.
Totally.
Wonder if we get more UNLV. That's an interesting game this week, UNLV Wyoming. As far as the 26.5, Boise State. That's a lot. I don't know. I just saw that Boise's leading wide receiver, he's going to hit the portal. What the hell is going on there? They couldn't get home last week. That sucked. That kickoff return on the final play of the first half killed me, among other things in that game. I can't lay that kind of number. 26.5, though, is a lot.
No, I think, you know what? I think that obviously adjusted for the market, and two, the performance out of New Mexico last week. So yeah, I think that that's pretty baked in now. So that would be too rich for my blood.
This seems obvious, but they've been obvious for like the last 17 games with USC over. USC Oregon game, I think USC games are 16-1 to the over last 17. He's speechless.
So I was checking at current prices on that of seeing where
I don't know. This will be the one without Grinch. Well, this will be the game to go under.
I know.
We'll hold Oregon to like 30 points.
I can't get that. I agree. Like, I think I agree. You could see some defensive bump. We saw it in the 1 week. I remember Georgia Tech switched out their DC. It was horrible. Yeah. Maybe you get a 1 week best effort type of thing. 2, Oregon, and I know they just dropped a 60-70 on Cal. I think it's going to be a lot tougher for the USC offense in this one, especially like when they can't run the ball. Similar to what we said with Washington and Penn. When they don't have the run game going. Williams, when we saw Caleb Williams against Notre Dame, when they can't run the ball, it just doesn't work as well. You don't get to see as much as. So, yeah, I know after last week's result, you might want to run and hit the over. It's not a play for me.
Oregon is the side or total in that game that would interest me is just Oregon. Spammy Sosa, any value remaining conference futures. Miami of Ohio plus 250 seems enticing. I didn't look at the conference futures. I looked at Heisman and national title. I really didn't see anything. These prices are Marvin Harrison 18-1. That'd be probably one of the only ones that enticed me a little bit.
I don't think they beat Michigan, but if they do, I think he's live again. It's just one of those, like, he has a meh game and not even like a no catch. He still had a touchdown in that, but you would need A, they got to beat Michigan. B, you probably need a loss from somebody like in the Penix, Bo Nix, Travis McCarthy. You might need a couple losses there. So yeah, I don't see anything on the Miami. What's your you got a Miami Toledo ballpark? Doesn't have to be
oh man, that was without Gabbert. I mean, yeah. So Toledo's at least 7-point favorite. At least
I was gonna add I was gonna say off my head was around a touchdown.
And we've seen the MAC. I know Miami of Ohio is favorite to win their side of the division now after beating Ohio, but I mean nothing's for sure down here. These last 3 conference games in action. I know they got Akron this week, but I don't know. If you like it so much, I don't know. I just bet them to beat Toledo outright in the title game if they get there. I don't know.
Agreed. You probably get plus 200 at least in that game. So yeah. Don't worry. At any of the. Just wait till the game.
A couple more here, and then we'll sign off. And we'll at least recap best bets. Tyler in the chat: South Alabama freshman backup looks like he's going to be legit. Yeah, I agree with that watching him. Yeah, and that let's see how low that line gets this week. I'll jump in on South Alabama. If Carter Bradley gets ruled out, goes under 10, South Alabama for me. Because they looked okay. That was kind of misleading. That was a nip and tuck game with like mid fourth quarters, 14-10. Yeah, I mean, that 28-10 final, I mean, they were really giving it a fight there. So yeah, that kid in the future is going to be real good.
No, I agree with you. I mean, the fact that he beat out Trotter, who's like played a lot of ball, not a fantastic, but the fact that they went to him, I think says a lot about his potential. So yeah, next year he could be a kind of a terror in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, and they'll be a team undervalued. They've had a tough luck 4-5 season. I mean, they're better than their record statistically. Arthur in the chat, thoughts on Bama, Kentucky? You know what? I think Kentucky above 10 is the play. What say you? No. I
bet some 10 for maybe off some flat 10 small for somebody this morning, but the Kentucky, you know what? And again, Leary, they really didn't need cost us our passing prop because Mississippi State's so terrible.
Yeah.
It definitely looks better. But at the same time, it seems like the Bama offense is kind of rounded in a form, and the Kentucky isn't the classic Stoops defense. I'm right around, at 10 is kind of fair for me. I don't have too much takes. If this guy, you got a Kentucky at 11.5, probably be in. If you got a Bama, under 10, then I'd be. So I think it's one of those that's pretty fair where it's at.
FIU plus 11.5. I can't get there on that team. I know it seems like a lot for Middle Tennessee to be laying that number, but FIU is really bad. You mentioned it looked like a high school team when Jacksonville State, I think, was playing them. Remember, it was like 21-0 first quarter.
Yeah, I can't get to the Middle Tennessee State plays like super aggressive. They actually had a really nice defensive game plan versus New Mexico State with a lot of blitzing and stuff. And FIU can't pass. They're one of those teams that like they literally just run RPO and quarterback run and run the ball. So and I know Middle Tennessee State, like a lot of the rushing advanced stuff isn't great, but when you can't pass, it's hard to do. So yeah, I didn't get involved there.
Yeah, I didn't bet it though either. Pass. Tyler in the chat. Can we talk some Heisman? Kind of just did. I don't know. Your favorite's Penix right now. I see as high as plus 180 for him if you shop hard. Nick's as high as plus 215. I don't know. There was nothing. I was shopping today to see if I could find some. I think JJ McCarthy, so much negative. You mentioned this. So much negativity around them. Be tough for him to win it. I don't know. What do you think? No, Nick's maybe. I like Oregon to beat Washington in a rematch. If I had to pick a guy to win it right now, it'd be Nick's. What say you?
I'm leaning that way too. I think kind of we're in a situation where they're kind of on the crash course again, and if both of them win out, it's probably the winner of that Pac-12 title game. I agree. You know what? If both lose, could McCarthy or Travis slide in there? I agree. Some of the blowback from this stuff could hurt McCarthy unless he's like the only option. And I don't think people are like the Carson Beck stuff is. And I know some other people have gotten big numbers on that. I just don't see a scenario here where like the four guys listed ahead of them all are going to lose and multiple a couple games. So yeah, it's probably one of the top two right now, which I know is a boring take, but it's hard to see too many scenarios where that doesn't happen.
Yeah, run out of games now, data points. Where that'll be the high profile game. I like Oregon in that game, so Nick's would be my guy. Liberty minus 13.5 thoughts. I didn't bet it. Market really hasn't bet it either. Did you bet anything? Liberty, Old Dominion?
No, old Dom's been a little friskier than usual this year. And so I couldn't get there in this one. And I know a lot of the guys just this late in the year, a lot of the market stuff's going to be better just earlier in the week. So as we both said yesterday, that was kind of a lighter Sunday than we've had most of the year. So it's another one that I didn't play on.
Speaking of that, the Monday board was dead. I was talking about this when I was doing the early morning show. Totally dead today compared to past weeks.
With college basketball back, a lot of people start focusing their attention over there, whether it be groups or traders and stuff. Only so much credit and liquidity to go around. So I think yeah, I agree. It was a pretty dormant Monday, and probably will be for the remainder of the year.
That's good though for guys like us, because
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. So hopefully we can get a good portfolio. We have one here. We'll recap it here in 2 minutes. Couple more questions. OU minus 12.5 thoughts. I'm not there. And if anything, I would kind of lean West Virginia, to be honest with you.
Same. Yeah, I just think Oklahoma got super overvalued early in the year with that streak of cover, streak of a couple of blowouts there, and some fortune, and it's basically just regressing back in a few before. And I think you've seen it. Also, like West Virginia plays that style where they're able to keep game. I kind of like them as a bigger dog, and they've performed in some of those scenarios here and had a much better year than myself and a lot of people expected. So yeah,
they thought even West Virginia fans, they thought the coach would be fired. Oh, they're going to win 7-8 games.
I thought it was a Neil Brown, swan song here, but they've kept it together. I didn't agree with all the changes they were making on offense too. It's worked out. You got to give them credit.
Yep. Eat that in the chat. Thoughts on Missouri's a small home dog to Tennessee? I got to tell you, Missouri, you know what? I buried the lead. The lead is Knish head to head. Missouri beat my Georgia Bulldogs last week. I should have led the show with it.
Yeah, man.
Another head to head win for Knish. Buried it. Took an hour to get to the lead. There we go. Another big win.
But now you got me on. You got me on. Oh my God! I tell you what, if I just wouldn't, Miami in this way. If I left Miami off the car, off everything I did all year, I'd be in a lot better spot.
There you go. Did you bet the Missouri-Tennessee game? I haven't really. I was thinking over, but I haven't. That's a really good data point for both teams. We'll see. Anxious to see how Missouri responds after such a big performance. Devin McClain in the chat. Anything on Texas minus 10 against TCU? I think TCU could take advantage of the weak Texas secondary. Yeah, I thought there was a sharp move that I didn't even take part of. The 10.5s, I thought getting bought up by TCU was a sharp play. Were you part of that?
No, and again, I agree with the side there. I tell you, it's funny. Like Texas's body of work just hasn't translated as much into some significant ATS success. They've had like last week they absolutely dominate Kansas State and don't cover. Due to some turnover. It seems like Murphy is much more susceptible to. He hasn't been as electric either as I thought he could be. And apparently our Arch just isn't close. So I'd lean that way still at the 10. I another one that I didn't take part in though.
Good news on the injury front there. Ewers started to throw. I'm not saying he's going to play this week, but he's already started to throw. So they get through this game, maybe next week for Ewers. Arthur in the chat, Ole Miss plus 11 against Georgia. I made it 10, so I certainly can see that. Georgia's not impressing me, man. I just, other than Kentucky game and then, the first part of the Florida game, but I would lean Ole Miss. Where are you at?
I thought this is another one. I thought we might get a little bit of a discount on a Georgia number here with the way Ole Miss is. We didn't. So I was kind of anticipating playing on Georgia in this one. Can't do it at the current price. If anything, I agree with you. Especially at some of those, a couple rogue 11.5s. I can't get to that number. I thought we would see a Georgia under 10 here and did not. So it was a pass for me.
Let's recap best bets. Or do you have any other best bets you want to add?
Like Brett asked, and this is a fascinating one for me. I don't know why I find it, but like the Northwestern plus 12 at Wisconsin.
I lean that way.
I was like, I have wanted to fade Wisconsin almost every week this year, and I was thinking that, and even after a dismal Northwestern offensive performance, I can't get to 12 in that one. I don't think Wisconsin. Why did Wisconsin keeps getting lined in all these games? Like they're bad. It's like every week. When's the last time? What is their ATS record? When's the last time they covered?
They covered by a half point against the Buckeyes.
Yeah, they covered the closer versus Ohio State.
Do I want to take 11.5? Taking a double-digit Big Ten West dog. I'm happy. I'll take any points in those Big Ten West games.
I'm in. I don't know why I just was pulling the trigger and now I got the confirmation bias I needed. So yeah, Wildcats.
There you go. All right, 11.5. Best bet. Close out the show. That's for you guys that stuck with us here. for the whole hour. We always like to do that, give you a best bet at the end. And if you want to, Zach, pull up the best bets. I think we have 4 of them, maybe 5. We'll recap them real quick, and then we'll sign off. Temple Plus 8 was me on the morning show. Make sure you're checking that out. We already got some CLV there. Looks like a lot of people responded. I see Mr. Muscles was even sending out text alerts on that. UCF +3, Northwestern +11.5. That's one still available. Arkansas -2.5 there. Love that one as well, under 3. That's a decent start to the week, man. I got to be honest. I bet all those.
Yep. I agree. I think especially, this late in the year, couple ones there that I like. I was and I will, you said with the board a little less active on a Monday, able to last until the showtime. So that's good. I'm glad we were able to get those out.
All right. That is the man. UTSA. Yeah, we covered that one. Oh, as far as a best bet. Did you want to best bet that, or you were just
give it? What's fair? 13.
Yeah, you were trying to get 12.5, I think. Do we want to make that a best bet?
If we, I don't want to, I know there's a couple of smatterings at 12.5, but at 12.5, 13, I'm good. I was able to catch a little 12.5. So either way.
All right, we'll best bet that one too, guys. Just for fairness, because we were talking pretty strong on that. So UTSA, that's the best bet against Rice there. So we will be fair. I'm sorry I didn't had confirmation on that one. So that is in now. And speaking of being in, that was a good show, bud. Thank you.
Good for a Monday.
Yeah. For the man, the myth, the legend himself, Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire, Zach Phillips. For all the show updates, make sure you're following us on Twitter and X at Hit the Books HQ, at the Hammer Betting Network. Also, that'll do it for Hit the Books. We'll be back to you guys Friday at 5. See you then.